What's up, guys? So today's video I am deciding to get a little bit personal, as I am a reader and I tap into you guys and we exchange energies and all this stuff. It's time for me to become vulnerable to you guys so you guys know who I am, what I'm about, where I've come from, so it's not just one-sided. So it's completely fair on when I tap into you, I get to know you, now you guys get to know me. Exciting! So life when it first started was rough. Like, I never really had an easy childhood, but who had that perfect childhood, right? Everyone has ups and downs, and life is dramatic, life can be chaotic, things like that. I lost my mom when I was 3 years old. She was actually giving birth to my middle brother. So that was my first tragedy. But the thing is that I knew that something was wrong with my mom before my aunt actually got the phone call from the hospital. And so that kind of like spiked my gifts then. At 3 years old, I was already in tune. I already knew what was going on. I told my aunt that my mom had passed before she knew. She just told me, oh, it was a bad dream, sent me off to bed. When she finally got me to lay down, the phone call happened. So there's that. Fast forward into life. My dad, he was adopted, supposedly. That's a long story within itself. So he never got to know his family, who his connections are and stuff like that, his true bloodline. So that on my dad's side is a big question mark. I have no idea about any of my family on that side. No idea. I know some of them, but they're not like blood, I guess you can say. I know his brothers, that he's part of the family, stuff like that. But that led him into his addictions and his downfalls, his demons, right? So he always had those problems. And then that led into us growing up. He became very abusive with my stepmom. In and out of jail and prison, things along that line. Upbringing was insane, but he never once touched us kids. He never beat us. He never would raise his hands to us. But my stepmom was a different story. The things we've seen, the things we've heard, just the memories of it all, fun stuff. So fast forward into, I was turning 15, 13 days before my 15th birthday, they found my dad dead in his apartment. He was supposed to be getting sober. And I knew that he had passed before anybody else had, due to, I had a dream. Everything was so vivid, and like the last thing that I remember was us as a family was when my youngest brother was still in a stroller. But at that time, when my dad had passed, he was already in kindergarten. So this was like a few years back. Everything had gone blurry. Red and blue flashing lights had happened, and then someone was gone. And it happened to be my dad. So then the upbringing of the rest of my time until I was about 16, just over a year, I was actually about to drop out of high school. I was done with life. I was turning into really dark times. My stepmom was an alcoholic by then, full-fledged alcoholic. I ran away from home many times, many arguments, many fights. Very, very angry phase of my life. So then I left home and lived with my grandparents. I finished high school, graduated on time, actually did really, really well. Never missed a day of school, and that just never happened. So I excelled then. I got a job, all this other stuff, and then I started putzing around with drugs and all that fun stuff for a couple of years. And then, yeah, life was just crazy. But I've always been in tune to things. Like, I've never let the drug or the environment control me. It was always me, always in charge somehow. Like, I was always aware of what was happening, where I was at. Like, I was able to still read through people, like, even when I was in my darkest days. So when I started putzing around doing my even darker days, I was couch surfing. Met a lot of crazy people, been through a lot of crazy things, seen a lot of crazy things. And then I met my husband, and he basically like saved me out of the whole thing. I moved out of Vegas, moved to Indiana with him, and then, fast forward, life became awesome. Yes, we've had our ups and downs and stuff, you know, due to him being type 1 diabetic. He lost his eyesight for a while. He got surgery and stuff, and now things are better with him. He's taking care of himself. You know, we're all on a healthier kick. A little bit more fast forward, 2 years ago, almost to the day, my stepmom passed away due to alcoholism. So that was a punch in the gut. So, you know, and why I'm such a firm believer of we can make our futures. You know, we can make our own lives. We don't have to let our past define us or make us, or, you know, all these things. Like, we have that free will. We have that choice to be able to do something better. Like, you know, my upbringing was absolute shit. It sucked. The fear that I had, you know, the upbringing that I had, and just the intensity of it, getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Someone broke into my house as well when I think I was like 10, and tried to rape me when I was 10. A complete stranger broke into our house. You know, so it's a lot of things. And the cops, the thing is that the cops didn't believe that it wasn't my dad's friend because he had a record, right? So they're like, oh, it could be one of his drinking buddies, da da da. So they dismissed it. But the thing is, my dad never went out. My dad didn't have friends. He drank at home. He would steal a bottle of alcohol and drink it at home. Like, he didn't go out and drink. He wasn't a bar person. So, you know, everyone has some kind of history. Everybody has some kind of history. But it's up to you about what you do with it and how you want to make it work for you. You know, it could be very, very easy for me to swallow in my pain. And, you know, a lot of my broken pieces I can use as, well, I could be like this because of X, Y, and Z. Well, no, I'm not going to be like this because of X, Y, and Z. But I also believe that everybody has a role in this world due to what was given to us. You know, not everybody can just get up and get over what has happened. Am I completely over what has happened? No. There's moments that I get into my brain and I can't get out. Like, it happens. You know, no one's perfect. But it's realizing that there's more to life than what was given to us. We don't have to continue to eat off of that bullshit platter that was handed to us at the beginning. We are able to stand up and do something with it. Some of us, it's going to be harder than others due to just how our minds work. But, you know, the point is that that's why I'm such a firm believer of, you know, you do have control. You do have a choice. You know, you can make a difference in your own life. You don't have to have your parents as you know, this, or you don't have to have, you know, the strongest background to be able to become the strongest person, you know. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I connect to people the way that I do, is because I get it. I understand. You know, I've been through a lot of things. I've seen a lot of things. And I feel, you know, the broken in people. And I understand that everybody fixes on their own. But I want people to realize that there is more to life than they think. It may feel like the end, but it's not. There is more that you can create. There's more that you can mold. And proof. It can happen. It's your decision. So, that's just a little rundown of me and my life. You know, I'm not all rainbows and glitter and unicorns and all this stuff. Like, I'm pretty much a creepy hippie due to, you know, my dark sides and stuff. But I do see the light in things, but I also see the dark. You have to. You have to have the dark to be light. You have to have the light to know you're dark. It's all about that balance. But anywho, so yeah, that's me in a nutshell. If you guys want to know anything else, if you guys are curious, don't be afraid to pop questions below. Make sure, if you guys would like to like and follow my page as well. Would love to see more around. And yeah, that was fun. That went on a little bit longer than I expected to, but hey, now you guys know a little bit. But until next time, I'll see you all later.